Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Visit and check out LSUOdyssey.com there. Subscribe if you can. LSUOdyssey.com/subscribe. Follow us on X, or if you prefer the pre-Elon era, Twitter, at Lon Phillips, Instagram, LSU Odyssey Lon. And definitely check out all of our stuff. We've got the interactive articles, the crazy live podcasts, all in one place. Interviews, doing a few guest appearances recently on the Go Team podcast. Check out my guys there; they are awesome. And especially this last show, I go into it thinking, getting all my numbers ready for the South Carolina preview. They're probably gonna ask me all these hard questions about the game coming up, and we talk about it for maybe like 5 minutes, and then we went straight into a cavalcade of LSU history that they had lived through, and I was more or less a backseat traveler, and it was very fun to do that. It was like I was a student in an LSU history classroom, and I had a ton of fun doing it. I absolutely love those guys. And here's the thing: they brought up so many great points about the history, and actually demonstrated that why Tiger Stadium is so much more than just LSU. It's about families growing up and maybe sometimes growing apart, maybe sometimes growing more closer together. All of this stuff at LSU, because that's kind of this place where a central place where there's no everyone is kind of in under the own common denomination. We're all Tigers. We're not a conservative and you're a liberal today, or you're a trans freak, or I'm a straight cisgender, whatever. Like, all these retarded labels just go away, and we become LSU Tigers. And that's why I thought it was so beautiful for them to do this show where basically they're kind of showing me why LSU Tiger Stadium is so much more, is so loved, and why it is a temple of college football, and why it's a temple of life for a family such as theirs. It's a great podcast, the Go Team podcast. If you need a link, go onto our site. We've got both interviews linked, and go from there and subscribe to their stuff, because they're fantastic guys and fantastic local Tiger badasses. But I was actually wanting to talk more about this confounding, extremely bizarre South Carolina game. To me, this South Carolina game, it's just like, I don't know how to call this thing. I've got 36-18 or something like that on my preseason preview. And maybe I could just go with my original prediction, which I've done for pretty much every game this season, but I don't think I'm going to this time. I think we're going to be switching up the pick this time, because this game is confounded. This game is hard to really sink your teeth into and really pick up. Like, where the hell is this game going? So many different things could happen in this game that could change the entire trajectory in the first 5 minutes. Oh my God, my son. Oh my God, my son was wanting me to give him apple juice. He came up to me with a big thing of apple juice, and I was like, "Oh, let me find your bottle." I go looking for his bottle. It takes me like 20 seconds to find his bottle. sippy cup thing, and I come around the corner and he's literally got the apple juice. He's just chugging it from the bottle. Absolute sage move there. But this South Carolina game, I really wanted to get into it with those guys on the Go Team podcast about this game because, yeah, we can shit on the offense for a whole hour or a half hour, whatever, and we can go at Garrett Nussmeier and say it should be MVP or whatever. Let's look at the game from a realistic perspective. Taking in your biases and just kind of throwing them away, and like, where is this game going? What is this team go? I mean, what is this game going to reveal about these two teams? And I think it's going to be a real knock 'em, sock 'em, drag out blood festival once again for another straight year. And I think it's going to be a wild game, wild plays. Last year, a blocked punt, return for a touchdown. Should have been a big play in that game. LSU didn't let that happen because we knocked Lenore Sellers out of the game. And when we knocked Lenore Sellers out of the game, it gave LSU a chance. Because Lenore Sellers, yes, he had a fumble and he had thrown an interception prior to that. So and LSU had a few sacks on him too. Swinson had 2 sacks just in the first half alone, and Sage Ryan and Harold Perkins both strip sacked him as well. So LSU had made some plays on Lenore Sellers, but we hadn't really taken him out of the game. We hadn't really knocked the crap out of him and made a difference there until we knock him out of the game. He had 88 rushing yards on 10 carries, 2 rushing touchdowns, 9 of 13 throwing the football, but he had a key, huge red zone interception. That was a big play in the game. I believe that was, the Southeastern guy who made that pick. Zy Alexander who made that pick. And, of course, as you know, that game came down to special teams, which is something we wrote in our article, that this game could come down to special teams. And it came down to LSU 36-33, South Carolina kicking a field goal as time expired and missing barely. So LSU got the last laugh special team-wise. But, my God, that game really got the blood pressure going. Let's see. Let's get some... So let's introduce some of our people here. LSU 8-time champ says, "Why is everyone ignoring this now?" Interesting. Ignoring what, my man? I can't see what that is. Just let me know what that is, my man. Ryan, he says, "Let's smoke on this male chicken." What's up, brother? How you doing, Mr. Ryan? Ryan. It is long, talking to you from the depths of the deep, the nocturnal delights of the echoes of your mind. The charades of time have come to take you away, my boy, into the caverns. Okay, we'll stop doing that. This game, for me, LSU South Carolina, if you're expecting an offensive revival, I think you're dreaming. I think this is going to be a game with 2 poor offenses getting smacked around, getting put in their place by 2 really good defenses. South Carolina's defense is suspect here and there against the run. They have a few issues here and there. But I feel like LSU's defense is a lot more solid than South Carolina's D. But at the same time, South Carolina, they have a more dangerous front 7, perhaps. Maybe a better playmaking front 7, perhaps, with Dylan Stewart, 3.5 sacks, 7.5 TFLs already. And they've got 29 TFLs as a team to LSU's 26, 14 sacks to LSU's 11. And then they've got 2 fewer pressures than LSU, 88 to 90 pressures on this season. South Carolina, Their defense has been awesome. But they've also given up 4 yards per carry on the ground. Could that mean LSU can find something on the ground against these guys? Hard to say because, yes, you get Caden Durham back, which is just fantastic news for LSU. You get Caden Durham back, but what is that going to mean? You know, you couldn't run the ball with Caden Durham. So either you devise something with Xavier Thomas to kind of create something. You devise something with Caden Durham to generate something going. Maybe you mix in Jawan Johnson in the running game. Maybe have MVB, Michael Van Buren, and Nussmeier on the field at the same time. Put Michael Van Buren in the backfield. Get weird. Get creative. I'm not going to tell Joe Sloan what to do, but get weird. Get creative. I mean, this is the time to do it. If you go out there against South Carolina, just like, hey, home, we're going to like throw it 40 times and beat you with that offensive line, I just don't think it's going to happen. Even in Tiger Stadium, even with, you know, a lot of things going LSU's way as far as having a defense that is incredible, finally having a special teams that is at least consistent. You've got all these improvements, but offensively, it has been a abject disaster outside of the Southeastern game. And I mean, truly a god-awful disaster. Not just the lack of production, but the lack of structure. The structure offensively is an abject failure, and that has to be rectified. You've had 2 weeks now for this game. Are you going to go out there with a hurt quarterback once again? If you're going to, you better have a damn plan. Because if you don't have a damn plan, and you're going out there with Nussmeier going to do the same old, you're asking for him to either get knocked out for the rest of the season with a season-ending injury, or you're asking for LSU to lose, or both, and most likely both. And that's something I can't stomach. I can't really sit with. LSU under Brian Kelly, we've done this before where we watched a slow-moving train collision with the Matt House era. This is that time once again, and that's not saying that Joe Sloan can't turn this around. He can. But you're not going to do it running RPOs with an RPO, centered offense with a quarterback that can't run anyway. So what the hell is the point of running these RPOs? It does absolutely nothing. It just the basic structure throws the offensive line off as well. The offensive line has just done a great job of throwing themselves off, tripping over each other. I mean, you name it. And it's been embarrassing. It's been pathetic. It's been way below standard. But here's the thing. It's not going to get better against South Carolina. I'm just going to tell you right now. I'm going to prepare you for this right now, okay? LSU's offensive woes aren't going to magically just disappear against South Carolina. They're going to continue. And you need to prepare yourself for that. That doesn't mean LSU can't win. Hell, we're 4-1 doing it this way. But this is a game where LSU it's going to be another close game. Shane Beamer, you can call him a prick for some of the stuff he's done off the field towards LSU guys, recruiting-wise. I can't say anymore. I need to stop talking or I'm going to reveal some stuff. But let's just say Shane Beamer can be a prick, okay? Good guy, but he can also be a complete prick. And swearing at kids and freaking out at kids for not making the right decision in your eyes, that's kind of bullshit. Also, he's a great game manager, though. Shane Beamer understands when to push certain buttons. Shane Beamer has been punching up for his whole time at South Carolina, and I know people want to rip on him and think he's not that good, and South Carolina's, this or that. Man, I think he's one of the better coaches in the SEC. I really do. And that's not to shit on Brian Kelly, compare him against Brian Kelly, do anything like that. But you are going to be up against a hell of a coach in this game for the second straight season, and it's not going to be easy because LSU right now is a team where you know how to beat them. They tell you how to beat. We let everyone know, a big sign on our forehead, control the football and you will beat us. Control the football and you will wear our defensive, amazing defense finally down in the fourth quarter because our offense can't control the ball, because our offense can't run the ball, because our offense can't score points, because our offense can't generate production, because our offense can't keep consistent drives going on the field. And because our offense has sold our defense short all season so far. And it's got to change. It's got to start this week. It's got to start this week. And, many have debated. I know there's some people, I probably shouldn't even legitimize some of these people, but a few people in the podcasting world have, but I'm not a prick, so of course we'll legitimize them. A few people in the podcasting world have basically said, go with MVP. Don't even worry about Garrett Nussmeier. Go with MVP. Is that going to happen? Do you guys think that's going to happen? Do you think we're going to see Brian Kelly really go for it here and start Michael Van Buren? It would be a crazy move that I think nobody's expecting. Nobody's expecting that move right now. Garrett Nussmeier, if he starts, will make his 20th straight start in an LSU uniform as an LSU quarterback. Rarefied company. Even Matt Flynn didn't do that. It takes basically starting 2 straight seasons. No injuries. Well, he's got multiple. And if he hasn't healed during the bye week, I hate to say it, he's not going to heal at any point during the season. That's really something we need to make peace with here. Garrett Nussmeier has given a lot to LSU. He waited for LSU. He could have taken all these other offers. He stayed for LSU. It's his time. It's his season. All of this is culminating to this moment. His dad took a job in the same state for this reason. And then it all comes crashing down with 2 injuries. I understand that. There's a feeling that you don't want to let this go. Because once you let this go, it might not come back to you. You know what I'm saying? And I think Michael Van Buren has a combination of fearlessness throwing the football that we need right now. Michael Van Buren has range throwing the football that we need right now desperately. And Michael Van Buren, whether his, negative 12 rushing yards on 69 carries, a ton of sack yards, making that so, but even with the sack yard, it's still not impressive. He also had 5 rushing touchdowns as well, so can be effective in the red zone as a rusher. He's already scored a rushing touchdown for LSU this year. Point is, I really don't care if Michael Van Buren or Garrett Nussmeier start as long as it's the right decision for the team. And I don't think you should just lock into one of these guys. I think you're going to need both of these guys for different situations. But right now, If there's been no healing, there's no improvement. I don't know how you can start Garrett Nussmeier in this game. Fruit snacks, AG? I don't know how you can start Garrett Nussmeier in this game if has not healed, if he has not recovered one bit. Because what we saw against Ole Miss, that was like going through boot camp. Like, watching that game is like Vietnam. Like, good Lord. I mean, that game. That game will give you flashbacks. I mean, whew, whew, whew. That game was ugly. And I love watching the defense. And that's what we're going to get into in a second here. But we already know the defense are going to ball the F out, and they're always going to bring it. So I want to talk more about what we don't know, and that's completely all about this offense and how they're going to be and how they're going to generate points, who might start for them. There's a lot of questions going in this game, and I'm sure people are going to be saying, hey, it's going to be Nussmeier, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. Well, you know what? Maybe Kelly goes for that one time where he finally says, you know what, I'm going to do something no one saw coming because I simply have to. Not just because the team needs a spark or some kind of like thing like that, but because you simply have to. The dude's going to be too hurt to throw the football. So here, we're going to have to open it up here, buddy. So I'm really concerned. I'm really concerned by this game because Nussmeier, think about it this way. If Garrett is dropping back 30 to 35 times in this game, and I think we're kidding ourselves if it'd probably be more if we're going to do the same old routine. He's going to get at least 5 or 6 hits on him in this game. Maybe those turn into sacks, maybe they don't, but here's the thing. He cannot move. Last year, South Carolina put 17 pressures on the offensive line that we had last year. 17, 4 quarterback hits, but they could not register a sack on Garrett Nussmeier because of the mobility, because he's able to evade pressure with his feet, right? Garrett Nussmeier actually did that quite a lot more than people are going to tell you, especially people who hate Nussmeier. They're never going to give him credit. But if you actually go back and watch the film, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the country at evading pressures, using the pressure against the defender, their over-aggression, take a step here, take a step there, and then complete the ball down the field. He wouldn't have thrown for over 4,000 yards if he did. But you don't just need the stats to prove that to you. Go back and watch the footage. He really put on a clinic of that. But Garrett, can he move? If he can, if this is healed, I'm going to be elated because then we can actually have a game plan. We can actually attack this thing. We can actually throw the football more than just 5 yards. And the defense will have to respect it. But I got to be honest, I will be more thrilled if we can run the ball. Garrett Nussmeier, I think whether he's hurt or not, obviously he's hurt. I shouldn't say it. But the degree to how hurt he is or not, he's going to make throws. He's going to hang in there, and he's going to be kind of Reagan era gutty about it, kind of a wearing the headband and the Top Gun theme in the background, and he's like, I'm willing to hang in there and hang tough. I got my headband on. He's a dude who's going to play through as many injuries as possible because he's a gamer. But can he move? Can he evade the pressures that he could last year? that is going to be a huge, that is going to play a huge monumental role in this game. Because if they get those 5 or 6 hits and they're able to land those hits on him every time, and he's trying to move in these ways that are awkward or unnatural, I'm telling you, there's gonna be injuries, and it's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty. Here, bud, I got yours. Sage, I already got yours right here. Come here. Who do you think your dad is? You think your dad isn't preparing this whole time? Think your dad's not preparing for the beast from the east to come in here and I want my cheeseburger? My sweet boy. So you have to play the quarterback who's really going to win you this game. You cannot screw around anymore if you're Brian Kelly, because I'm telling you, Brian Kelly does not want to play with this fire. If we lose to South Carolina at home, 3-2 South Carolina, by the way, too, people will remember that fact. You lose to a 3-2 South Carolina team at home, Tiger Stadium at night, South Carolina. Lenora Sellers only has 4 touchdown passes going into this game, only 98 rushing yards going into this game. You lose to that South Carolina team, not because your defense couldn't stop Lenora Sellers. We'll talk about that in a second. But mostly because your offense couldn't keep up with him or couldn't generate maybe even 30 points. There will be serious hell to pay for Brian Kelly. You do not want to play with that fire, Brian Kelly. You have to get this win. If that is benching Garrett Nussmeier and starting Michael Van Buren, that is what you have to do. I don't care if that is controversial. I don't care if that's the talk and maybe it loses certain people from your, people kind of say, hey, whoa, Kelly, you got this wrong. And portions of the fan base get pissed off at Kelly. Like, who cares? No one's going to care ultimately if you're winning these games. You have to do what is best for the team. It might be starting Garrett Nussmeier is the best thing for this team. And then he gets hurt later. He aggravates the injury in this game, which could happen. Then what are you going to do? Are you going to keep him in there? See how long it goes until he's stretchered out of there? Where's the line? Where's the line with Garrett Nussmeier? Are we going to wait until we're down 17-0 again for the second straight season against South Carolina? Because I'm telling you, we go down 17-0 early in this game. It's not about our defense. It's about our offense. And I don't see how we could climb out of that hole. Just like Ole Miss, there are just obvious things in this game. Ole Miss had a terrible run defense, and it was if you can't run against these guys, there are some serious problems. You absolutely could not run worth a shit on Ole Miss. Okay? But you had 2 weeks to go into the lab and figure it out. You have a hurt quarterback. You've given Michael Van Buren a week of first-team rep snaps. And Brian Kelly said it. He had command of the offense. He showed command of the offense. Brian Kelly was very complimentary of how Michael Van Buren looked. And I really do think it's tantalizing to go with him. And we'll just leave that until maybe we break some news before the game. Maybe we don't, but we're going to try and keep our our heads to the ground. I think it would probably be Garrett Nussmeier starting this game no matter what. But it would be great to see both quarterbacks, or if Garrett isn't healthy, you make the right decision here. If Garrett's healthy and he's healed and he looks sharp anywhere close to the 2024 Nussmeier with this defense, we should win this game no problem. No problem should win this game. But once again, goes back to running the ball. I don't think LSU, actually, I take that back. Maybe now that Paul Mubenga isn't going to be on the field, maybe now that LSU are, having Carius Kern at right tackle and kind of gotten a whoop in the ass this last bye week, maybe now we can actually sustain a running game for once. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe all it was needed was to swap a few guys out, move a few guys in, and trust in youth. I don't know. I think that would be very fortuitous and incredibly, almost like a break that we don't deserve. I think we almost deserve to have a bad season the way we've hyped it up, the way we've thought. Brian Kelly goes up there and says, I know a thing or two about offensive linemen and offensive lines. You guys don't. Listen to me, chump. I'm going to tell you what an offensive line looks like, and this is going to be a really, really, really good offensive line. Because you don't know what the hell you're looking at. I do. And now your offensive line looks like that. Well, man, it'd be great if Emory Jones had stayed another year. Wouldn't it have been? But man, what we miss him at right tackle. My God, the offensive line has been absolutely embarrassing, and so is the running back play. Like the reading of the holes, it's all been bad. The whole running game structure. And how much are we paying Alex Atkins? Like, do your freaking job, man. You've got to earn that money this week, because you should have last week. You should have had a scheme that would have erased that Ole Miss defensive front. Alex Atkins should have had a scheme that erased that defensive front, allowing 190 per game. And I get it. We didn't have that much in the backfield to call upon, whatever. Harlem Berry, Juwan Johnson, even Xavier Thomas, that maybe better options than Ole Miss had. Like, outside of a few guys. That's a 5-star right there in Harlem Berry, 5-star freshman. There should have been at least 70, 80 yards of rushing offense put up, at least. At least 70, 80, 90, something. So can LSU run the football against this defense, against South Carolina's defense? Can LSU's defense at least hold this team under 24, keep doing what they've been doing all season? Can they solve the puzzle that is Lenore Sellers? Lenore Sellers still has made plays. He throws the ball from the pocket, I think, a lot better than people give him credit for. Lenore Sellers is a specimen, like, as a quarterback. I would love to draft a guy like that. Holy crap, he looks good. Sorry, I was on mute that whole time and I did not realize. You're going up against Lenore Sellers, and it's not going to be easy. But you should know what you're going up against. You've played them again, 1 year, the same defensive coordinator, a lot of the same players. You had some mixed success, some moments, but it's all about containment. It's all about limitation and containment for me with this defense against Lenore Sellers. You've got to just shut him down. Tackling on the corner, but from the corners like Mansour Delane pictured right there. The tackling from the safeties, it's got to be key. It's got to be huge because there's going to be a few misses by the linebackers at some point. And it is very, very key that A.J. Halsey comes flying up there and makes a big stop and prohibits the gain from going over, 15 yards. Halsey did that countless times against Ole Miss. And I really love what I saw from A.J. Halsey in that game as well. And I think he is going to be a key player in this game. And, and some crazy numbers. Really have to give you these crazy numbers here because it shows how good some of LSU's secondary has been this year. Okay. DJ Pickett, Mansour Delane, A.J. Halsey, and P.J. Woodland. Those four have 53 targets against them, okay? 53 targets against all four of those guys. Each one of these guys has an interception already through 5 games, and none of the four has allowed a single touchdown. That's fantastic. Some homegrown guys, some transfers, some 5-star freshmen, everybody showing out for LSU in the secondary. Tamarcus Cooley's got to have a big game as well. But I can't talk about this defense without going right back to the offense. You cannot just expect this defense to just pitch a shutout or something against Lenore Sellers and have to be out there for 80-plus plays again. Like, this offense thinks they can put that defense out there for 80-plus plays against a dual threat like Lenore Sellers. You better hope you're scoring 45-plus points because it doesn't matter what defense you have. The the refereeing, the setup of the game, the flow of the game, everything is set up to give the offense an advantage in football, in modern football. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. They're not going to be able to withstand it. Look at the 2011 Tigers in that national championship game. They're on the field for 3.5, for 78%, 80% of that game. They're on the field. And LSU are still in the game until Trent Richardson breaks off that touchdown run late. But that's what you're doing to your defense. You're literally like giving them this like slow death over 4 quarters that is just gross. And you got to figure it out. Paul Tarver says, there you go again with Reagan era gutting it out from your recent column. Love it. Paul, thank you for reading, my brother. Yes, indeed, my man. Gotta throw in those references. Gotta keep the people entertained, my friend. Paul Tarver says, Nuss taunted us with that 26-yard scamper a few weeks ago. Show that Nuss tomorrow. Yeah, he wants to be fearless and wants to show like that moxie, like tuck it and run for 4 or 5 yards and get out of bounds. Place will give you a standing ovation. But, brother, I don't think that's an option because of the injury, or at least it wasn't the last few weeks. He could barely move, could barely like plant his feet, barely do his proper footwork throwing the football because of the injury. Everyone just said, well, no, his mechanics and his all suck. He's just completely suddenly just forgot how to do a drop back. Just Ridiculous stuff like that. Obviously, dude's hurt, couldn't plant his feet properly. Now you hopefully have him healed, and hopefully he'll be able to do that, and hopefully we'll see the best of Nussmeier. Because, man, if we can have him somewhat fully healthy, even like, I shouldn't say that, somewhat fully healthy. The dude's not going to be fully healthy the rest of the season. Let's just get that out of the way. If we can get him to 60, 70% from the bye week, oh my God, we can win this game. But you have to run the ball, and you have to keep his passing attempts to 25 and fewer. 25 and fewer. And I also kind of want to see, if I was head coach, this is what I would do. The first play of the game, I would have Michael Van Buren out there starting at quarterback. And Michael Van Buren would do some type of cool dual threat play, just like a RPO bootleg, kind of an option, roll into the side, throw it underneath, throw it deep, or, tuck it and get 3 or 4 yards or more if it's there. High percentage play, get the offense moving, get the defensive, players worn out a little early, and kind of get the offense rolling. And then I'd have Nussmeier come back in the game and go from there. But just show them immediately from the first play, hey, at any moment, this guy's ready. At any moment, this dude's ready. But at the same time, if he's ready, if he's going to be effective for you, use him. But only Brian Kelly knows the answers to those questions. Joe Sloan as well. They know if MVB is the better quarterback to win us this game, or if it's Nussmeier. And judging by their call, I think it's safe to say Nussmeier will be starting this game, and probably MVB only coming in unless Nussmeier gets hurt. But it would be nice to see some creativity and some risk for once. What you want to do as an offense is always let the defense know we could do that at any point. We can throw that bomb over your head at any point, but now we're going to run it down your throat. And you can't stop it. Oh, but hey, guess what? We can call that play action and bomb it right over your head. It really, as a form of safety, it screwed with my head. Because I'd want to go up there and help the linebackers, but I got to watch my back. I got to watch over our heads, man. You can't be creeping up way too far. So manipulate the safeties, and LSU will have a lot more room to run, a lot more room to operate. You got to get something going. Jeremy Sagely says, how many sacks does LSU get this game? Defensively, well, LSU got 11 on the season. How many sacks does LSU get this game? Good question. First, how many do you think we get? Second, I'm going to say conservatively 2.5, but I would love to see more. This defense, they're more about like high value pressure and stuff like that, like rather than like sealing the sack deal, which is disappointing in a way, but they've still put up good numbers in sacks. But I think I don't think anyone is on the defense is more than like 2. And right now the leader of TFLs on our defense is West Weeks with 2.5. So it's like, and by the way, Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins only have 1.5 sacks and just a few TFLs combined together so far over 5 games. You got to get Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks going. We thought that Ole Miss game was going to really screw with Kiffin. Man, it screwed with Whit more, I think. And we need to see Harold Perkins, Whit Weeks attacking in attack mode this game. They need to be all over Lenore Sellers. So 2.5 sacks for me. I'm going to say Gooden gets his first, and then Patrick Payton gets one. Paul Tarver, my man, says Blake Baker dialed pressure on Chambliss back versus Ole Miss. Must look like pressure we brought versus Clemson. He really didn't dial pressure against Ole Miss. It was a lot of delayed crap, a lot of fearful calls where it was like, hey, there's no hell bent for leather here. No one's flying in on Chambliss, which, hey, the first guy is going to maybe miss. Most likely is going to miss. The reaction from the quarterback, the path he chooses after that, in that crazy few, split second after that guy's just barely missed him around the legs, around the waist, around the freaking face. That's going to decide whether the play's successful or not. And so that immediate pressure has got to be high quality. And LSU's first pressures were not high quality against Chambliss. We did not rattle him. We did not shake him. There's barely any blitzes called in this game. And I understand you can't really over blitz a high volume rushing offense that are throwing it short a lot of the time. It's kind of like the air raid, You blitz and blitz and blitz on the air raid, you're going to be caught big for some huge plays because they're simply going to have too many areas to gut you with. You can't just vacate these areas. You got to have guys in kind of a weird read and react mode. And that's what we're doing way too much against Ole Miss. I want us to be attacking. I want to see Harold Perkins. Maybe Harold Perkins needs to be in that read and react mode as a spy. And then what weeks you have him attack, and then you have them switch, and vice versa. But yeah, guys, I you know what? I'm gonna change my prediction. My prediction earlier this season for preseason was 36 LSU, 18 South Carolina. I predicted it would be a rough and tumble game, but there's no way we're scoring 36 points tomorrow. And I don't think there's any way South Carolina are scoring 18. I think this is going to be an unbelievable LSU. I think are going to roll out of this with a win, 14-10. LSU are going to reclaim Tiger Stadium with a 14-10 win over South Carolina in Tiger Stadium. LSU secure it 14-10 in a low-scoring, a brutal low-scoring game. What are your thoughts, everybody? What are your picks? Comment right now and let me know. What's everybody doing this weekend so far? Everyone have an awesome weekend so far. It's gonna be a wild game tomorrow. I've heard a lot of people are doing some absolutely sick setups with their tailgating. Really, really, really wish we could be there. It's once again another game we're sad to miss this season so far. I mean, usually we're at least at least one game in a season, and so far this season nothing. And it's really driving me crazy. It's been the season. The last few years has been kind of slim pickings when it comes to Tiger games that I've been able to get to, and that just can't work like that. That just can't be possible. We will have to change that quick. But I'm so excited for all of you who are able to be at the South Carolina game because I think this is going to be a big game. This game is going to tell us a lot about Brian Kelly, a lot about the future of the program, the future of the team this season. You know, if Michael Van Buren goes out there and wins us a tough SEC game, has an incredible performance because, say, Nussmeier gets hurt early, then you literally have the next quarterback for the team for the next few years. That completely changes all the narratives about the post-Nussmeier era or whatever. If Nussmeier goes out there and balls out and has a 300 freaking yard game and looks fine, no injuries, and LSU, even they win just 27-14 or something like low scoring, the narrative will be Nussmeier's back, he's fine, screw you, I'm on the Nuss bus, blah, 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 blah. That will be the narrative. I could just see this thing going in so many ways because you could also see where just even it doesn't matter what quarterback you use, LSU's offense is piss poor, and it's just the frustration of lack of points, even in a victory, the frustration of knowing every game is going to be really, really freaking close, and we might injure our defense completely to pieces by the time we get there. Like, we might literally be out of our best defenders because they're playing 80 freaking plays a game. You know, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to get away with that. Wow. This guy's a bandwagon casual. Jeremy says he sold his ticket for tomorrow's game after we lost to Ole Miss. Man, I gotta say that's pathetic. Like, thank you for watching the show and stuff, but bro, that's pathetic. Like, I'm someone who's not from Louisiana. Do you know how much it like pisses me off to miss any LSU game? To miss any LSU game, it pisses me off. But I understand I don't live there, and it's the life I've chosen to cover a team across the country. You're not going to always be there for everything, at least at this stage. But the idea of having the opportunity to and just giving it away just because we lost the game before, come on, dude. Come on. Get a sack. Get a sack, Jeremy. I'm just giving you shit, bro. Yeah, it was a bad loss, but come on. Like, come on. Like, some of our fans got so freaking emotional over that loss. It was almost embarrassing in a way. Like, I get it. We lost and it sucked, and like, but we were freaking 4-1. Like, let's have some perspective a bit here. Jeremy Sagely says, "You don't know me." Bro, calm down. I'm mostly giving you shit, okay? Because I have to. You can't post on the LSU football show and say, I sold my ticket when we lost to Ole Miss, and I'm going to be like, yeah, stick it to them, man. Stick it to the team. Like, no, I'm not going to back that. That's bullshit. I'm going to support the team, win, lose, or piss or draw. You know, like, I'm not going to be proud of, like, sold my ticket. Like, that's not something to be proud of. And I'm not going to, like, make you feel good about that. If you think that maybe Blake Ruffino and his Alabama helmets and his obsession with other SEC teams, because I guess winning is more what he's about rather than, like, actually being an LSU person. Maybe that's more your style, but we would love to have you. I'm just giving you shit because come on, man. Like I just said, I just got done explaining. For me to lose out on any opportunity to see LSU, it bums me out. Like, actually depresses me. But to throw it away, to give it away, that's something I just can't understand. But Jeremy, we absolutely do say this in love and in jest. We're always gonna like make fun of ourselves as much as we make fun of other people, and we're not really making fun of you. We're just making fun of the idea of selling the tickets because of Ole Miss. Paul Tarver says, agree, most likely a low-scoring affair. A special teams block punt or a punt return taken to the house would be nice. Yeah, but you guys might not know this. It might be South Carolina more likely to do that than LSU. Vicari Swain for South Carolina, their punt returner. 3 punt return touchdowns already in 5 games this season and 206 punt return yards. Leads the SEC, of course. I mean, having 3 punt return touchdowns in a whole season is like leads this conference or something. Having 3 in 5 games is crazy. That could be something that I really do think special teams wins this game for whoever is going to win this game. And I predict LSU is going to win it 14-10. I really do think LSU are going to score somehow, either defensively or through special teams. And I think LSU's kicking game is going to be good. We're not going to give Vicari Swain anything. But you know what? Maybe that's the touchdown they score off of. Maybe that's the only touchdown we give up is Vicari Swain goes and takes it to the house. Either way, we'll be seeing you guys tomorrow after the game. It's going to be a wild one. And thank you so much for watching, everybody. We absolutely love you guys. Jeremy, don't take it personally. We just had to give you shit. Hopefully the Tigers make you regret that, and you'll be like, that'll never happen again. But you know what? You made the choice. It's all good. Enjoy watching the game from home like I will be, it's not a big deal. And hopefully LSU kicks South Carolina's ass and impales that ass, brother. Jeremy, sorry for giving you shit, but had to. Thank you for watching, though. And all of you, thank you so much for watching. Paul Tarver, thank you for reading as well. King Cole Adams, all y'all, have a hell of a night. Go Tigers.